anyone here to do public comment, which is fine, but that way so that you all know. And also, at this point, we're going to start recording the meeting. So we want to let everybody know that as well. So during the board meeting, what we do is we ask people, you have the first 10 minutes to do public comment. When the first 10 minutes are up, then we tell them they're more than welcome to stay. You can watch. We just ask people not to engage because this meeting is for board business. And so we ask for people not to, talk, interject in our conversations, that kind of thing. That's what the general meeting is for. But it doesn't look like we have anyone today who is not on the board. Welcome, Linda. So let's, it seems appropriate that we start the first thing on the agenda is introductions. And my name is Margaret. I'm the chair. This is my sixth. I started coming to meetings before COVID. And then we actually missed a year where we didn't have an election and I was going to run. So I've been on the board for 5 or 6 years. I've lost count. This will be my 3rd year as chair. What I would personally like to accomplish from being on the board this year is to see a little bit more involvement within our community, to see more focus put on some committees where, for instance, like the Whitaker Community Art Team, which we're going to talk about tonight a little bit. So the Art Walk has traditionally been the last Friday of each month and has been part of the WCC, I think, for, I'm guessing, but I think it's been like 20 years. Am I right about that, Doriandra? Yeah, it started out in somebody's garage. And it just snowballed from there. I just would like to see more committees, more people within our community, feet on the ground, participating, getting involved, and doing things that they're passionate about. So that is my goal for the year. And also to, I have a background in fundraising, which I haven't really talked about before because I don't want to get thrown under that bus. But we need to focus on some fundraising as far as grants under the local or under our current situation, and how we're going to keep things happening within our community and go, maybe on a route that's more private than public funding. So let's pass it on to Derek.
Hello, all. Pardon me. Derek David, owner of a business in the Whitaker neighborhood. Been an at-large member for 2 years, I think. Thanks to Thea and Margaret both. My arm was twisted a little bit, but I'm glad they did because I enjoyed being involved. And this year, I think what we've talked about a little bit as far as being more involved is in as far as a business committee, being a business owner in the neighborhood. I don't think we have enough businesses on the board, and I would like to reach out to some of those business owners in the neighborhood and form some kind of a committee to help each other out, because we all suffer from a lot of the same problems that the neighbors do there. And sometimes as a business, you suffer from these problems in a little different way that you need to tackle it a little differently. And to have some groups that we can talk to together is something I'm shooting for.
Fantastic. All right, Doriandra.
Great. I am Doriandra Smith, Executive Director for WCC. And let's see, I came on in 2021 as a program coordinator and got kind of thrown into the fabulous deep end with you all. And we jumped into vaccinating many, many members of the community, and we jumped from project to project. So along the way, I learned how to actualize and rodeo grants from start to end. So I've come on in 2024, January, as the executive director. And it is an absolute privilege to work with this board and find solutions that help us strengthen the safety net for our community. So I'm glad to be here. And this year, I'm hoping that we become more resilient in our fundraising. So looking at you, Margaret, we just need to become more. I liked what Janet said at one of our recent Public Health and Safety Committee meetings with kind of turbulent times potentially up ahead for the community. It's time to use some of those Great Depression era thinking where we use what we have and we really rely on one another to pull the stops out when people are in need. And as we may lose some of our funding as we go, that will be also an important goal that I hope we can steer to. So I'm so glad you're all here. This is a great, beautiful new board. So
fantastic. I'm just going to go in let's just go in the order. I mean, I don't know if you can see the people, but Jen, you're next from what I'm looking at.
All right. I'm Jen Chalk, for better or for worse, elected secretary. I have been with the Whitaker Community Market for the last, this will be my third season as a co-owner of that business as we transition into a nonprofit. And then I also, this is actually not my first public election. I am also the Zone 2 Upper Willamette Soil and Water Conservation District representative and service secretary for that board, but we are lucky enough to have an admin person who does this for me. And I also am the development director at Breda Brigade and Wasted Taste and work pretty significantly with Center for Rural Livelihood. So I'm sort of all over the place, but the reason why I wanted to be on the Whitaker Community Council is because I believe in neighborhood scale interventions. And I've been really, really impressed with what Doriandra has done. And I kind of do some of this stuff sort of professionally as far as the clicky clacky and the process stuff, despite my sometimes lack of professional demeanor. And so I just want to be able to provide that support to the good work that she's doing and see more people get, healthy homes and economic opportunity and opportunities for pro-social interactions and all that fun stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jen. All right, Janet. Are you done?
I was going to just pass it to someone else, but you got it. So.
Well, all I'm doing, so I just pulled up the list of people that are in the meeting, and this way we don't miss anybody. And I'm just going down the list as it's listed on the side, where the chat is, but you click on people. So I just didn't want to miss anyone because I'm really bad at names. And so Janet,
I would ask that everyone who is in attendance to record it, if your name is not your name, if you can, like Margaret, I don't know how to spell your last name unless you write it out. So that kind of stuff.
I'll send it to you. It's in my email. Look, it's in the WCC email on the bottom.
Yes, but I'm currently trying to pay attention to what people are saying and taking notes.
Okay. Oh, it's S. It's S. Do you just want me to put it in the chat?
That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, folks can just put their full names in the chat. So I just make sure I get it right.
All right. Sorry about that. Janet.
I'll go last. Thank you.
Okay. I will try to remember. No guarantees.
I'll remember.
Joanna.
Yeah, hi. Well, this is my first year on the board. Not entirely sure why I agreed, except that, yes, I do have a passion. I have been in the WIT, in fact, in this same house for over 50 years, which tells you that I'm no longer young. Never will be young again, and that's just the way it is. And I guess the first involvement I had in the community was many years ago. I can't tell you how long ago it was. I was involved with, I don't know if it was the first or not, but it was a Whitaker refinement plan. And it was interesting to see how they went. The plan was approved by the group. and then I won't name names, but there were people who did not like it and went to the city and complained and almost got their way about changing things. So that kind of soured me on involvement. But since then, I've decided, you know, you can be sour if you want, but it doesn't get anything done. So where I am now is, in the meantime, I have gotten involved with amateur radio. And while I am beyond impressed with what the council has been doing all these years, I mean, beyond impressed, my suggestion is, what happens? Doriandra, you said the other day, if, I'm going to say when we have an emergency and there is no communication available to us, but perhaps amateur radio. And I have seen videos about things happening in various parts of the country and all over the world, where the only communication that was possible was via ham radio. So my hope is that, like the Friendly Area neighborhood, and I am impressed by what they've been doing over the last few years, is that we can come up with some kind of emergency communication group. It doesn't have to be big, but it does want to have a few people involved. So I'm a ham radio operator. There are people who have FRS radios, which require no licensing. There are people who have GMRS radios. That does require a license, but that's only $35. I'm not sure at this point if that's forever or if it's for 5 years, but it's very reasonable cost, and you have a 10 years, thank you, a much larger range, so that if we do have an emergency, flood, fire, who knows what, we can communicate with each other. I am the neighborhood contact. My husband is the contact for the whole southeast neighborhood, which includes Friendly and a whole bunch of areas, which didn't make sense, but I didn't decide who all is going to be in there. So I really would like to find out who in the community has radios, who would like to start talking with each other so that we can just practice. Hi, how are you? What frequency are you on? What do we want to do? Should there be an emergency? And just be used to what to do instead of going, freak out, freak out, freak out. And I know it's not as glamorous as all this other stuff, but it is, in my mind, important. So that's why I'm here, and I want to get involved. And if I am needed in some other area, you just let me know and I'll be here. And I guess that's about it from me for now.
Thank you, Joanna. And I'm sure that we can participate in helping get some people together that do have radios and would like to participate in some neighborhood drills.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Linda. Linda, are you here?
Are you on mute?
Okay, how am I doing? Can you see
That's
me?
good. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Sorry, takes a minute to get there. Hi, I don't have a lot to say. I'm here because I love the Whitaker. Joanna, I don't know if I know you, but I also started being in the Whitaker in the early 70s.
Forever ago, yeah.
So anyway, hi. And I love your ham radio idea. I'm probably not going to get involved, but I'm supportive.
Okay.
Although there is an old ham radio tower at the house next door where my neighbor passed away, and I don't think the new owner is doing anything with it. I don't know if they're valuable, but I wondered if somebody in the ham radio community might have some kind of use for it, or maybe we could talk to him and see if he'd like somebody to take it off his hands.
Linda, why don't you send me an email?
will.
My husband's very much involved in ham radio, and he would be able to take a look and see what that's all about. It's probably some kind of an antenna. If it's a tower, it's a pretty heavy duty antenna, and it could very well be useful.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And we didn't really love it, but my next door neighbor, Phil, really, he was a ham radio guy. So anyway, and on that, I'm here because I am concerned about the livability of the Whitaker neighborhood. And I would like to contribute to making it more livable, whether it's, being active on the train front or on the garbage front or on the drug front. I would really like to keep it livable. I would like to not lose another single business to what's happened here. And I would really like to be kind of encourage more people to be involved. I feel like we need, like you said, Derek, we need a broader support. We need a business support. We really could use more young people. I mean, look at our board. Most of us, half of us anyway, have. I didn't do the exact math. Are older, and so anyway, that's all I have to say. I look forward to meeting you all in person.
Thank you, Linda. And we'll introduce Thea. You want to talk for a minute? Thea is technically.
Margaret, I'm gonna need to talk because, guys, I've had my hand surgery and I don't last very well. I just had double carpal tunnel release surgery, and I am fading for the night.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can give my spiel and leave and let you know, or do you need to finish introductions? I go lay down and come back. I got it.
Go ahead, Thea.
Okay.
So hold on. So Thea is our neighborhood liaison. She's our parks and safety liaison with the city. Thea is technically not on the board, but she has been the parks and safety liaison for many years, and continues to take on that responsibility, which is a big one sometimes.
So the first question is you folks will have to decide if you want me to keep that position, because each year when you get a new board, you have to decide if you want me to continue to talk to the city. So you can hear what I've been up to, and then you can decide afterwards, and Margaret can let me know. I have to go ice my hands in a little bit. I'm doing really, really well. I don't look like a committed suicide anymore, but they get really painful at night. So, and I sent a lot of emails out today that I'm not supposed to be typing right now.
Then back off, lady.
So what
Take care of yourself.
What I have been doing is I work with EPD, I work with city folks, I work with parks and open space, and in the last week I've talked to a lot of them. We'll start with EPD. EPD, depending upon what happens with the bond measure, we may or may not get bicycle patrols back this year in our parks. And our bicycles officers have always been really good about reaching out to people and saying, here's resources. Their first option is not ticketing. Everybody thinks, oh, they're going to ticket. That's not their first option. They reach out and help with resources, but they also remind of park rules. We have a lot of e-bikes on the bike paths now. We also have motorcycles on the bike paths now. We have people commuting on motorcycles and bikes with motors, not e-bikes, but they're actually putting motors on them. And so that's becoming a little bit dangerous. So we've been having conversations about that. If the bond measure, or not the bond measure, if whatever the cities do, their new budget doesn't go through, because they're looking at it. We may not have bike officers, but we will have seniors on patrol. They're also using not seniors on patrol. It's now volunteers on patrol. So we will have those folks. They are proactively working on trespass. So Parks has a nighttime patrol that reminds people of park rules and that you can't stay overnight at parks. And Eugene Beauty Supply was having some major issues with trash from people moving out of the parks and then camping and doing drugs and sleeping. You know, everybody has a right to sleep everywhere. I agree. Not everywhere, but everyone has a right to sleep. And they were having issues in front of their doors. They would come in and then there was fecal matter, urine, drug paraphernalia, and trash. And so EPD has been working with the folks that keep coming to sleep there and saying, we have places for you to sleep, but this isn't a spot for you to sleep. Because there are places out there. So that's their approach. It's not, they're not arresting people and saying, unless a person has warrants. So that's where EPD is at right now for updates. And then you also need to know that if you're going to report something, it is faster to report it online than it is to call dispatch. Whether it is an EPD issue, unless it's an emergency, a 911 issue, it's often faster online. It's definitely faster for parks reports. Parks and open space. So Parks and Open Space has park ambassadors. They do education about the parks. I've met with the head of parks because I don't know if any of you have noticed, but our parks aren't being maintained right now. They haven't been mowed. They're not picking up trash. And I just took pictures. I went around and took pictures and I met with the head of parks and I said, if I go over to Oakway or I go over to such and such, I started naming parks around town. I said, they're being mowed every week. I said, we haven't had sand put in the sand pit in Maury Jacobs since they put it in, and then they did put a little bit in 6 months ago. But other than that, it hasn't been done. You're not picking up trash. I can't go out and pick up trash daily now. What's going on? The supervisors went out today and started looking, and parks are going to be mowed. Our parks are going to be mowed in this week. WJ hasn't been mowed. Skinner's Butte hasn't. Maury Jacobs, Scoburg Gardens. Scoburg Gardens renovation is still on track. Okay. And I'll get you in a minute, Genevieve. And then WJ, I don't know how many of you heard what happened, but there is an issue with our unhoused having some stomach dysentery and stomach issues. It is contagious. That's why I was emailing this morning, and then it hurt my hand, so I started picking up phones, and no one at Parks knew what was going on. And I'm not watching the news today, so someone was kind enough to let me know about it. So I talked to Parks. Lindsay Leach is on it as well, and they're gonna see if they can get some bathrooms out there. Possibly, they're looking at what they can do. Okay, Doriander's put the link to the KVAL story in there. Okay. Lindsay wrote me and said, got your email, thank you. I've asked what we can do to help the situation, like adding some porta potties and sanitation. Matt Rodriguez is reaching out to county and some of our teams for what would be best to help stop the spread. I have let them know that Whitaker Community Council has hand sanitizer, and if they need to reach out, they should reach out. So they may be reaching out for that. Those are the park updates. I have one other. Genevieve has a question, so before I give you your other update.
Yeah, mine was just about the parks because I've talked to Emily Proudfoot about this, but the market has, we've been talking, and we would be willing to step into kind of an ambassadorship role for Scoburg. So if you have those conversations and that continues to be an issue, know that we're willing to try to put a little bit of muscle behind things. So.
Okay, good. So let's you and I talk at another time because I'll get you connected. So what I have found with this city is I've been in meetings with some of our higher ups and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, so-and-so from this department knows. So I'm connecting the different departments. Why they don't talk to each other? Shh, beyond me. I don't know. Probably, I'm also in talks with the city about getting trash cans in the Whitaker. Margaret, we started this, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
I think it's been an ongoing thing for a really long time, yes.
So I reached out to Santa Pac. Santa Pac has somebody who comes from Austin, Texas, who they put trash cans around their city that had recycling things on it. So people couldn't pull the trash out. And there was a place for recycling. The city finally reached out to me a year and a half later and said, so we hear you want to put trash cans in the Whitaker. do you want to do it or do you want us to do it? I'm like, well, I need to find my contact. That was a while ago. So if you would like me to pursue that, I will pursue that. You have to decide if I'm still your person.
Actually, that's a chair decision, but okay, according
okay.
to the charter.
And then April 30th, it is a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. I have scheduled a walk with the mayor. I would like to know who would like to attend. She wanted us to have business owners there. I have called her scheduler and said business owners can't take off. So the plan is to meet in front of my house. We are going to walk up into the heart of Whitaker. We will stop at businesses. I am still emailing businesses to see if anyone wants to participate. We are going to walk down 5th Street. We are going to walk up past WJ, go down through the Rose Garden, and then come back this way. We can't do the whole Whitaker in the time slot because Whitaker goes from Chambers to middle of Lawrence. So we can't get the whole thing. But we'll stop and visit Nelson. We'll stop in the Pisces Fish Store, asked if we could stop there. Margaret?
Did you walk it the other day? And if you did, how long did it actually take?
I haven't walked it. I haven't walked it yet. I haven't had the energy, but
right,
I will walk it. I think it takes about 45 minutes, depending upon how much stopping we do.
Hey, text me about that. Sophia might want to go.
Yeah.
She
No.
would give a perspective of a young mother with 2 kids.
Yes, I would like neighbors to come. I know Chris has blocked it off. I think Travis is going to join us. We need people to come. So 10 o'clock, I will send out a thing to the board. Doriandra, if you could, or somebody get me all the new board members' emails, that would be helpful.
Theo, what's the date again? Is it April 30th?
April 30th
At 10 a.m.
at 10 a.m. Chief Skinner will also be there because every time I take a city official around the Whitaker, he gets a phone call and says, "What are you doing about this?" So I said, "Why don't you come on the walk and you can answer the mayor's questions firsthand?" So it's kind of to show her what a great neighborhood we have and what we're fighting for, because she needs to know it, because her goal for downtown is to be a walkable neighborhood with businesses and residents. Does that sound like any place you guys know, live and work? So that is the 30th. And then my last thing is I have two more things. You do know Brun's Red Apple sold. I have not met the new owners yet. They are from Washington. They are making changes. I think they're still looking into WIC. I haven't been in a while, but they're not taking WIC right now, which is really hard on our neighborhood. Really hard on our neighborhood. They are also no longer giving out free food. So when someone comes in and says they're hungry, the new owner said no. So I'm hoping to have an opportunity to meet with them. They are supposedly going to be here on the 30th. So I'm hoping to maybe connect up with them as well. And then the final thing is the next week on the 23rd, the city council is having a work session, and Randy Groves, the counselor from the Bethel district, that area, 99, he's often someone I go to when Lindsay's not available or I need extra help. I'll write Randy, because he seems to have some common sense. He's a retired fire chief from Eugene, Springfield. And they are doing a work session on wire theft and shopping carts and having ID to recycle your wire, because right now you don't have to have ID, which is really hurting some of our businesses because they're and HVAC systems and things like that the wires coming. So if you have ID, great. You probably got your wire in a legal way. And then shopping carts are about where is it appropriate. They're also working with businesses right now to get shopping carts ID'd. There is a company in town that is now returning shopping carts that are left abandoned to businesses. And there's also a panhandling, not passing things out in the traffic lane because it's becoming a safety issue for the person standing there as well as other vehicles. So that's a work session that everybody would like you to know about. And then I also spoke with Cindy Kohler and got her connected. Janet knows more about this, but as you know, may or may not know, railroads doing some things, and Union Pacific just sold 27 miles of their track to an eastern section, and the city wanted to know who the contact is. The contact is Aaron Hunter. And I don't know if he's ever gotten back with Doriandra yet, but that is the contact. He hasn't? Okay. So, and that is why we see new rock along the tracks and why we're seeing more trains. I don't know if those of you that live on the north side of the tracks, and I have made all city councilors aware. I have made the fire chief aware. I have made the city manager aware, and EPD, because there will only be 2 ways to get across the tracks: Ferry Street Bridge and Chambers Street, if we continue to have these long trains go through. So, Genevieve?
I was just curious if, there was any response around Cahoot's service ending, and there is a rumor that potentially the city has a plan to institute its own mobile crisis or something.
No, because the city's been using Lane County's thing now. And I haven't had time this week. I literally had surgery a week and a half ago. So when the Cahoots thing came up, it was like, I haven't had time to address that yet. And when the park stuff happened today, I was like, okay, this is what we've been talking about. I've been concerned about hepatitis, because hepatitis happens quite a bit in unhoused populations. And San Diego had a huge outbreak, and I've been telling the city, you have to do something about sanitation. And my new line I'm using with the city right now is, you're not being equitable. You're treating Whitaker like a stepsister. And you want to be equitable and fair, you need to look up. They're not being equitable. They're just not paying attention. So we'll see. Are there any other questions? And guys, I've been here 30 years, and I think I've been doing this thing for at least 10, maybe longer. And I've been on and off the board probably since 15. And I've been writing letters to the city about the safety of the park and the police department since at least 06, 07. So
Yes, thank you, Thea, very much for everything that you do.
So let me know if you want me to keep doing this, if there's anything you need me to do, and I will see you all on the 30th in front of my house that want to walk. Okay, and I'll see if I can get some water bottles or something.
So
I'll send out an email.
I do have a quick question for you. So I have a bunch of businesses in the Whitaker from the Art Walk. Do you want me to email them all and ask them if they would like to show up to go walk the neighborhood with the new mayor? I mean, we're talking 50 businesses probably.
I'm trying to figure out how many businesses that, you get it too big.
Okay, well, how about you and I'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
we'll
and you
go
guys can
over
talk
the
about
list.
it as a board and see what you want as a board. What do you want the mayor to see? I want her to see what amazing neighborhood we have, but we need help with the trash. We need help.
Garbage cans, or please get the garbage. I would say everyone is in favor of us having garbage cans.
Yeah.
Is there anyone opposed to that?
You guys talk about it. Let me know.
So thank you, Thea.
All right. I'm sorry I can't stay, guys. And thank you. And thanks for being here. We live in the best neighborhood in the city. And if you don't live here, you're working here or you're owning here. And it really is. So.
Well, I'll tell
Technically, I'm
you,
one block
after
outside.
50 plus years here, I live here for a reason. There's no other neighborhood I would prefer to be in.
Yeah. We had a great neighborhood potluck this weekend. And it was so much fun to see the diversity in our neighbors and how much support everybody is for each other. It was just amazing. So, all right, guys, you guys have a good night. Okay.
Thank you, Thea. Thanks for making the time. And everyone, Vicki Lynn, you want to, can we see you?
Yeah, I'm here.
So Vicki Lynn is our, she's our accountant. Vicki Lynn is just to give you all, since we're doing like an onboarding. So Doriandra is our executive director and she is under contract. And part of her contract is that she has the ability to hire people under a 1099 that work underneath her for the board, for the Whitaker, on the grants that we have. And so in a few minutes here, Vicki Lynn is going to go over, we're going to talk about money, talk about what our responsibility is as far as the board of the nonprofit side versus being the board of the neighborhood association. So anything you want to say, Vicki Lynn?
No, that just about covers it.
All right. Well, thank you. I know you work very hard. And then, hi, Travis. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Janet, I think that's it. Janet, are you with us?
I am now. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't have the mute off. I'll be brief. I just am hopeful that we can encourage more volunteerism across all age levels to encourage a civic understanding of civics and less reliance on federal, state tax dollars, and more reliance on each other, one another, if we can, to cooperate and be a true community without having to rely on outside dollars or the few inside dollars we have in the state of Oregon. And I just want to make an announcement along with, I am the Southwest Director of CERT, Community Emergency Responder Training. I don't have the radios like, oh, help me, I forgot her name. She spoke
Joanna.
first. Joanna, thank you. I'm sorry, Joanna. We're both J names, I should remember. And I just want to see the community at large pull together. I like to see our taxes reduced. I am taxed to death.
Okay, well, that's a political conversation, Janet. We don't talk politics with the.
It's not
we're a
politics.
we're a
It's
nonprofit.
economic. It's economic.
Janet,
Yeah.
Janet, we're not
So,
going there, please.
Margaret, I'm closing right now. I'm closing. Please don't do that. Thank you.
Please don't talk about
Don't
taxes.
elaborate. It's done.
Okay, Deanna, why don't you take the next 15 seconds and wrap up, and then we'll move on to Daniel and try to get back on the agenda time.
I'm finished.
Thank you very much, Janet. And Daniel, I don't know how I missed your name. Thank you, Jen.
I was sneaking through. My name is Daniel Williams. I have lived in Whitaker on and off since 2009, I believe. I came here from where I grew up in a relatively large suburb on the East Coast. It's my favorite place in the world. My job is advertising for a medium-sized regional company. So I have some rudimentary skills at reaching out to people and trying to organize communication along those lines. My ambitions as being part of this thing is to try to get some of the community spirit stuff, the art stuff, the music stuff going on. I play music in a band. That is where my heart lives. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody and making that happen. And also, I have a young family. I've got a couple of kids under 2. Got a big old puppy. So I'd like it to be clean and safe.
Daniel, we're very, very, very grateful and feel lucky to have you. So
Well, I feel lucky to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. So I sent out some emails, and I hope that everybody had did I miss anyone introducing? I think we all got it. Thank you very much, Jen. I sent out some emails, some stuff to go over, and we will refer to the charter as we go through the year, just so that everyone knows. On Monday, the city went through every neighborhood association charter, and every charter was approved. Our charter itself is a little bit different because out of 23 neighborhood associations in Eugene, 3 of them are a nonprofit, and we happen to be one of them. So our charter was originally written in 1973, I think. It was revised in about 2000, but not much has happened to it since then, and we'll address that at a later meeting. But our charter was approved through the city, but it is so it serves a dual purpose. It's a charter for a nonprofit and a charter for a neighborhood association. Being a nonprofit, I did send a video out where a few years ago we had a lawyer come for the Center of Nonprofit, and she did an onboarding about what it means to be a board of a nonprofit. Certain things like they being a 501c3 nonprofit, staying out of political things. They really, it gives you a percentage, like 10% of what you can do legally. As a nonprofit, you're fine with that. Otherwise, you need to just stick to doing nonprofit things, like what we're doing with the housing, like what we did with vaccinations, with the plants, with all of that stuff. Now, being a neighborhood association would be more along the things like the train, which we definitely, I'm sorry? Janet, are you talking? Or okay, I see you put yourself on mute. Thank you. Would definitely be things like what's happening with the trains, the train station, and the port. As well as, just so that everybody knows, so I talked to Julie today, and Julie is who has done all of our storage. She went through, cleaned it all out. Tomorrow I'm going to go, and if somebody wants to come with me, that would be great. But I'm not going to talk to them or much, but I'm going to go grab a case of hand sanitizer, which we have lots of. And we also have some pumps that you just push with your foot, and you get the hand sanitizer without putting your hand on it. And I'm going to go and take that and give it to Neighbors Feeding Neighbors, because if you watch that video, they were interviewed, and they are having some issues with what's it called, Jen? Do you remember?
Shigella.
Yeah. And it is really, if it gets away from the unhoused population and gets into the neighborhood as well as the unhoused population, nobody needs to be sick like that. So we have some resources that we can share, and I'm just going to go drop off a case of it and some hand sanitizer for them. Would anyone like to go with me? Okay, I'll just go get it out of storage and go. So Doriandra, do you have anything to add about the neighborhood association versus the nonprofit? I mean, it's kind of also an on-the-job training. As we go, we'll learn.
Sure. Yeah. So my role as executive director is to manage and guide the nonprofit side of WCC, and that is through grant writing and all the programs that we are doing. So those programs, I have a great deal of support, and in tandem with our Public Health and Safety Committee, we meet monthly, and so together we really focus on the needs of the neighborhood and perfect or suss out which direction we want to go. But this is an interesting thing, having it also be a neighborhood association, because when there's 2 parts of this that are really helpful. One, when we're looking at the needs of the neighborhood, that informs the narrative or direction of grants that I chase down for the nonprofit. So in that way, we're really working in tandem to care for the needs and improve our community. The other part that's interesting is that as a grant writer, I'm seeing now that we have so much more strength behind us as a community neighborhood association, because the grantors really want to see the systemic change happening on a granular level, literally like in the communities, because we understand that, you know, to create positive changes and, you know, to reverse the disparities in public health equity, you have to just start on that small level. So we hold a really valuable footprint having these two entities, and I think that may be the strength of why we're getting good grants. I mean, I do a great job writing them, but also we have this motion behind us. And so we've definitely proven ourselves in the OHA grant realm. They've supported us on multiple great projects. We brought small bucket gardening to the neighborhood, and we're able to distribute that at Jen Shack's community market. So everything just really folds together from both sides, and it's a great tandem work that we're doing.
Okay. Are there any questions? So what we're going to do at this point is we're just going to pass it over to Doriandra to do a grant update, as well as let's go over the finances as well, Doriandra, and make sure that we have everyone's proper email so that they can have access to the drive, so they can see the reports and all of that. So I will let you and Vicki Lynn take it from here.
Great. Thank you. Yes. So earlier I sent everyone on the board an invitation to view our monthly statements in profit and loss. This is a part in the drive where Vicki Lynn does her reconciling, and all of our finances, whether they're expenditures or income, is all going through a QuickBooks system that Vicki Lynn manages. So I'm going to put that page up in the chat for you all, but you should all be able to access that at any time during your participation with the board. So let's see, let me go get it shared for you, and then I'll let Vicki Lynn kind of talk through what you're seeing here as you see it. Let me get it up on the page. Okay.
Are you doing the profit and loss first?
Yeah, I'm just going to go into the statements, and then we can, let's see, just make sure everyone can see that page. Is that visible for folks?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So this is what you'll see when you...
I'm not able to see it. I shook my head no.
Well,
I don't see
Janet,
it.
are you on your phone?
I
Your
am.
camera's
Yeah,
off as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can have Vicki Lynn just report the totals. But
I shall read it off, but I can't see it.
You might not have a big enough screen to be able to read it. It's going to have a
I see the tiling. I have 8 folks, 8 squares. I know there are more than that. This is
You
why.
can switch the view of
Where?
so usually it's kind of like usually the 3 dots. It's
I'll
probably
touch
down at
this.
the bottom of your screen,
Okay.
and it will say change layout. If you hit the 3 dots, right?
I do not have it.
And
I
we
don't
couldn't see you
see-
shake your head because you had your camera off. So sorry about that.
I'm my screen when I touch it says on the go, in call messages, settings, activities.
So probably if on the go is highlighted, it means that it is not showing you screen things because it thinks that you are driving and it is trying to enforce safety rules upon you.
Okay, so how do I remove it? I'm in my house.
So maybe click on that, see what happens. But you also, if you can access your email while you're in your house, Doriandra shared these out, so you might be able to follow along.
Oh, on my Gmail?
Yes, Janet, I sent you the link, so if you can hop on, you'll be able to see. But if not, why don't we just have Vicki Lynn talk us through it, and then she can give you the numbers. She'll read the main numbers for you, and then you're free to look at it when you're able to see it better.
Okay, I'm trying to jump out of the where it says mute, raise your hand. So I'm back scrolling, popping it up. I'm not getting the tiles or it
Okay.
just says you.
Okay. Again,
How do
Janet, do you mind? Yeah, I can't check it for you because I can't see what
This is very limiting. This is why these board meetings that requires, because isn't that what's necessary with the board is with a nonprofit, you have to be informed
Janet,
about it, and
yeah,
I'm not.
Janet, you have a link to view this at any time
Yeah.
at your convenience. We're just going over
Okay.
it as a group so that everyone knows what.
Okay, just direct me if you would back to the tiling system. How do I get back to that?
So probably just go back and hit on the go again. Do
Uh,
the same thing you did.
I see Genevieve, but that's all. And I'm not back. I'm
So could you get
I'm
back
not-
to the screen where you can see us all, Janet?
I'm trying to get to that. Would it be in the tiles at the top where it shows the red dot?
Try that. Yeah.
The
See
red
if you
dot
can
and
just
then
get back
it's
to the main.
ignore.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Okay,
without
great.
ado,
So it
I'm
just
ready.
and you know, I really want this to be a great meeting for everybody. It's our first board
it's
meeting.
not my intention to
If I
deflate the
can
meeting.
finish, please, Janet.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm chairing the meeting. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
do. And
I'm here.
you know,
I'm
we
here.
and we offered last year, and I know that you have a laptop, and you told me that you didn't know how to use it, and we offered to have someone sit with you and
Margaret,
I finish.
I don't have a laptop. I don't want a public spanking by you. Let's
I'm
move
not.
on
I'm
with the
trying to-
business.
Janet,
Let's move on with business.
Hey, both of you stop. Sorry. This is late
Yeah.
for me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Just move
I
on with the
Would
business.
like to let
That's why
Vicki
I'm
Lynn
here.
speak.
Yeah, I'd
So
like to let Vicki.
if
Thank you, Jen.
Everyone other than Vicki Lynn, including me,
Please.
can mute themselves. That'd be great.
Please.
Jen, no, I'm not going to do that either. That's not appropriate. Miranda, please continue.
Vicki Lynn, are you still with us?
I am.
Okay, so hopefully we are showing the
We're looking at the balance sheet.
balance
yeah.
sheet. Do you want to take us
That w-
through a brief wander through this?
Yes, what this shows us is our totals in the bank. What we have for all accounts, the total for all accounts is $9,638.41. Now this is for March. This isn't what we have currently in the bank because we're looking at April with our funding coming in. So this was March's bank statements. Okay, this is what we had in March. That's basically what shows us was in the bank in March was $9,638.41. There really isn't much else on the balance sheet because we don't have credit cards. We don't have anything else other than the liabilities and the assets, and they all balance out at $9,638, which is what's in the bank. So if you want to move over to the profit and loss, that will show us our income for March and our expenses.
Yes, let's do that. And okay. Now, is everybody able to see this screen? Did it change with us or?
Yes, it changed.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like it changed.
All right.
Let me pull mine up so I can see it.
Mhm.
Hold on. I can't see that small amount either.
Okay.
Okay.
You want?
I
No,
can't
it's okay.
see it
I
either.
got it over.
cannot.
I got it. Okay, so we had grant income. We got the CDC grant income for March, which was $4,167. And then we had our expenses. We didn't get to pay Doriandra in March. We paid her in April for March because we didn't have the funds. So it doesn't look like we spent very much. You know, we had extra income in in March, but it was only because we couldn't make payroll. We have there's bank fees in here. Basically, all there is bank fees and then utilities we paid out and different things.
Okay, and yeah,
What-
we should elaborate on this a little bit.
What are the
Can I ask
utilities?
how far behind you are on being paid, or are you
We're
caught up now that it's April?
we're completely caught up. Yeah,
Yeah, we're caught up now.
this was
Great.
typical grant chaos. This grant was supposed to come to us back in October. I think OHA was suffering incredible losses from the administration changes, and this dragged on and dragged on and dragged on, and we were finally funded a week and a half ago. So everything is
Yeah.
caught back up, and next month you'll see a much more robust and logical P&L and balance. So yeah, this has happened to us twice, where we've had really big slowdowns with getting grants paid. It happened at the top of January 2024. And so we've had to do some strategy, but we always sort it out. So we'll be going really
I'm
deep.
sorry for interrupting, but it looks like Doriandra is speaking, but I'm not getting any sound.
I think, can others hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Joanna, can you hear the rest of us?
I mean, I was getting sound. Yeah.
Joanna, can you hear me?
I don't know what the
Joanna
phone-
probably has her thing on mute.
My hand is talking.
Sounds like her husband's helping her maybe text this out. So that's good. Oh, I just want to finish my train of thought while Joanna works on that. I was saying that we'll be getting deep into this. Daniel, thank you so much for agreeing to join from our treasurer and finances meeting. We'll be doing that the last. Oh goodness, this is tricky.
The meeting host should have the authority to just mute someone.
Said what, 3:30 on Monday? I think the 28th maybe is the last
Yes,
day of the
yes.
Their last
Thank you.
month.
Yes, thank you, Daniel. So we'll be going over, I'll be showing you guys all of our master budgets, and I think Jen is going to hop on that meeting as well, which will be really helpful. And Vicki Lynn will be there, and so we can take you guys through how we do it and kind of our large organizational plan as we move forward. Last year I started a organizational budget, and Vicki Lynn and I got in great tandem with it, where every single grant that I was doing had its own category. And so we've really kind of taken a year to get stable and good at that. So it was good timing as we go into this large grant structure ahead of us. So I'll be thrilled to work with y'all about that a little bit more minutely. So go ahead, Jen.
Do you guys pay for the type of QuickBooks where you can input the organizational budget / has that happened?
Vicki Lynn?
The what? Where you can put the organizational budget in there? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so you can pull a BVA.
I'm not sure what a BVA is.
Sorry, but budget versus actuals.
Oh yeah, we can do that through QuickBooks.
Great. Yeah. I guess on Monday I can maybe ask if there's something in particular that'd be cool to see. But
Yeah, whenever, you can show that because I have everything set up in class as well. We can always look at everything under class.
oh, perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got it, and we have it set up per grant. So yeah, both Margaret and I came on at a time when things were really erratic with the state of our finances. And I always want to thank Margaret again and again for the tenacity. She put her shoulder behind this and spent hours sorting it out with our banker. We pretty much lived in the bank with Cameron to try to get this done. And the hours she put into it were amazing. So we're finally have a very stable, clean organization of our types of banks accounts, the way our money comes in from the grantors, how we direct it out of an indirect expense account. So we also have it set up for, again, that separation of neighborhood association and nonprofit. We have savings and then a fundraising account. So all those really serve to keep us very organized as money comes in. And so that is a great thing. Thank you again, Margaret, for getting us on track, because before it was about as clear as mud. So,
And you'll see all that, Jen. I already have this thing from the Secretary of State. They've already changed the website, done all of that. So we just need to talk about the banking today. When we get there, then you and I will talk about how to move forward with that.
okay, great. So why don't we hop out of the finances real quick? And I just wanted to jump in. If there's any other questions about finances that I can answer for you. Oh, it looks like Linda's got a hand up and Travis. I'm not sure who was first. Looks like Linda. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
User error. Travis?
Mine wasn't a user error, but I just wanted to let Genevieve know that her link before the HTTPS / that item before that link that you put for responsibilities or how members operate within a nonprofit, that brings you to a really weird set of websites regarding Project 2025. So I did figure it out and was able to erase that garbly-gluck in front of that link, in front of the HTTPS. But just to let you know, you might want to clean that link up and repost it so that you can get to the actual page that you're trying to direct people to.
That's really weird.
Yeah, that's actually the Chrome extension. If you just click on the link part, my guess is that you accessed that PDF through that same kind of extension file. But thanks for letting me know. Just the part that links should work.
Yeah, the thing that says Chrome extension / EF aid NBM and that thing, when I just basically copied the whole thing all the way down to the PDF, that brought me to some like Project 2025 stuff. So
wow.
I don't know what that stuff is, but
yeah, I just clicked on the link and it popped up as a handbook for nonprofits. So.
Well, it doesn't in the
Thank
chat.
you for sharing that, Jen.
In the chat, it's not a link. It doesn't change color where you can just click on it.
Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone. Yeah, I have to physically copy and paste into a browser.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's okay. I copied it clean. Sorry, it should be fine.
Okay. All right.
I did try to read Project 2025 to inform myself and didn't make it through all.
Sharing your Republican propaganda with the group, Jen?
You know me.
This is not a time and place for this stuff. This is a non-political.
I know, no politics, no politics.
No politics, no politics.
Rules and regs.
Okay, folks, let me get back on track real quick so we stay on time. I just know that Linda, did you have a question or did you fall off and then come back? Just taking questions about finances now.
No, I don't have a question.
Oh.
My hand got raised inadvertently, and then my computer died because my plug hadn't been plugged in properly.
Okay. And then Joanna, I'm seeing some very unhappy emoji faces. Are you still trapped without sound?
Oh.
Darn it. Okay. Actually, it looks like she hopped off. Maybe she's going to try to rejoin. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
That's what Thea did earlier and it worked.
Yeah, no, Joanna, I see you're still on. If you can hear me, you might want to disconnect and hop back on.
Well, I was looking at the tab and it showed that sound was off. Why? I don't know. Everything else said it was going, but I clicked on that. I can hear you now. I'm going to shut up and let you continue.
Okay, I'm glad you're here.
We're glad to have you back, Joanna.
Oh, sorry. I laughed.
Okay, folks.
Okay.
So let's just hop into our biggest, most exciting grant right now. as we were just talking about, it took forever to land. And during that time, it was kind of that nail biting anxiety. Well, do we just push forward and get everything in place? And did that, and finally we're funded. So the Healthy Homes Grant is live and kicking. The applications have been flowing in very well. And we've got, as of today, 6 houses that I've taken all the way through the eligibility. And I met with our contractors today, and they have those addresses, and they will begin their intake next week. So we'll start the week out with a trip over to the Eugene Mission. Our contractors are thrilled to meet the team over there that's working with the RQ program. So big thanks to Mike Tardy and Margaret for saying, you know what, let's pair up like that. So we're going to go get all those thinking minds together and really think tank how these folks can show up in a van with all the tools they need and prep the work that the contractors do, and then come back on the backside and help paint or do a lot of the smaller tasks. So they'll be working the community to better it and learning valuable skills from our contractors. So it's a total great fusion. I'm going to go ahead and put that application in our chat for those of you that are new to the program. And please feel free to, if you need any more information on it, let me know. I know it's kind of hard to come into the middle of it, but we've been talking about this endlessly, so I may forget some facts to tell you. I will start a marketing campaign with this sometime next week. And so you'll be hearing some nice ads about it on KRVM, KLCC. Oh, we got a dog in the picture, doggy sighting.
We also have a waving baby.
A waving baby. It's just, I can't even concentrate. It's like staring into the sun. Babies and bananas and dogs.
Beautiful.
So precious. Precious.
Where are the kitties?
Oh, Rupert was here for a while, but
I did see him. He's a cutie.
Yeah, he loves WCC meetings. I don't know. He's so yeah, we'll get that marketing thing out, and it'll be nice to really expand the program. One of the things that we have money in the budget for is to do a postcard to every person in the Whitaker about this. So we'll be working with our printers, QSL. And I think I've got about $3,000 in the budget to do that, which is about what it used to cost. It may be a little bit more now, but we'll cover that from any overflow with our indirect. And so that'll be amazing that every tenant, resident, owner, person in the Whitaker will get a postcard saying, if you need help, we are here to help. Go ahead, Jen.
Did you do the thing where you are registered as a nonprofit with the USPS to get the discount?
We can do that. That's a great idea, because in the past, our postcards tend to be under the neighborhood association blanket. And so yeah, very good idea. Thank you for reminding me. That's right. We're going to,
I think it's like $300, but like having done a mass mailer, I think and if they're not going to pay for the mailer we're required to do.
Yeah.
Moving forward,
we're no longer required to do them because they don't have the money.
So great thing. Thank you. We'll get the nonprofit USPS rate. Beautiful. Okay. And yeah, that may be, yeah, now that you say that, maybe we'll have to figure out a way to minimize waste, like, do we just, yeah, that's a think tank thing. Okay. So we'll get that marketing project going. And from there, we're going to just be ramping up
I can't find my hand thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I just have a question. Margaret remarked some meeting or two ago that postcards would be going out, and I thought it was either for the election. I've noticed, are the postcards in fact going out to notify of the elections, if not the healthy homes, to apprise Whitaker residents to be informed about either of those events? So I'm directing it at Margaret. Did the postcards go out
The
at all?
city is no longer paying for them.
Okay.
because of the budget shortfall, and there are many residents, and we don't have the money to do that.
So the postcard mailings are a thing of will no longer be taking place. Is that correct?
They're on hold for the time being. That's correct.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't want to say they'll never happen again because I
Yeah.
don't know that, but
I just remember, so I
But
think
Dory
maybe
Andrew is just talking about how she's going to do one for healthy homes.
yeah, so that we can expect that mailing, correct?
she's going to look into it.
Oh, okay. And my hand thing isn't up, so I have to flash. So thank you.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Thanks for the question, Janet.
Yeah, the postcards would just be part of a media package that we have created, or that I've created for every major grant that we have funding for, and it's
Just one other thing, when we were talking about budget, not everyone is a bookkeeper, accountant. So using those acronyms kind of confused. I noticed Joanna didn't know what BVA was, nor did I. So for clarity's sake, when we go over the budget, it's hard enough with the Zoom format to avoid using acronyms to say the whole word out, so we all don't have to come back and say, well, what was that about? So
sure. Thank
yeah,
you.
that could
Absolutely,
be
my
avoided.
apologies.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
reminder. Thank you. Jamie.
I didn't know what a BBA was either, Janet, but I do know QuickBooks. So, I think most of us were in the same boat.
Yeah. So thank you for understanding on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see. Okay. So, yeah, we'll just be
Mass
ranking it.
campaign and
Yep, we'll just hit the marketing on this very well. In the past, we've even done big billboards. We don't quite have enough for this time for money to do that, but having that billboard up in the Whitaker for a while was really fun. Actually, that maybe they'd work with us and give us a good price of that. But
Which one did you get, though, Andrew?
what?
Which one did you get? Which board?
Oh, right there, right on Blair and First.
Oh, the train tracks.
Yeah, right by Derek's. Yeah, it was great.
That seems like it only goes to nonprofits. I wonder if they would just give it like seriously reduced rate.
Yeah, I will ask. They were pretty good to work with, and we for our what the heck was that? It was one of our COVID programs, or Healthier Together. We had it all over the city. It was really exciting.
Yeah, that was JD and his family were up on that.
Yeah, that's right. That was a wonderful campaign.
Yeah, I remember that now. Actually, now that you say that, I remember walking by that all the time on the way to the bars.
Yeah, Thea and Richard were on one. There was just so many neat families and kids that our photographer then took, and then we're able to work those into just fabulous ads. So yeah, that was fun. So, okay, so we'll get that going, and then we'll be really pushing forward. And, this is a funny thing because our contractors are going to hit inclement weather at some point. So that's why I'm going to push this marketing thing for this month, try to knock this out this month and get it rolling. And then they will have May, June, July, August, September, and then our rains will start to potentially change. So that will keep them really busy through the whole thing. Our Eugene Mission volunteer team is going to make their summer term specifically for our work. So they'll be in tandem with that. So we'll hit this really hard. We did get some correlation back with our grantors because this had such an incredible slow start. Technically, the biennium for the first year would be ending December, but we were 6 months late to start by absolutely no fault of our own. And so we've got kind of a stay of spend down, per se, as it were. In most normal grants in a 3-year cycle, we're going to pay, we're going to spend it all. We're going to go out the gate so that we get down to zero at the end of the first biennium year so that we're flush to go into the second. But they've actually indicated that because they were so late, that we don't have to do that. So that'll give us some grace to really learn this program and learn what we need to do to get past the bugs. But to me, it also potentially is a bellwether for that there may not be more funding, that with the changes that this may be maybe a one and done. We just don't know. So they're great to follow with us, and so we'll communicate as we go. The other good news is we will be getting an extension offer from OHA for our current emergency preparedness grant, and I don't know what that will be. The last one was for 18,000, so it was very unlikely that would be that number. It'll be something smaller, and then there'll be another 24,000 or lower, again, depending on where they can pull the funding from, for our CDC public health infrastructure grant, which is specifically for salaries. So we should be getting those letters this month, and I'll share that with you guys then. In the meantime, I've got 2 other grants on my table in writing, and we're going to cross our fingers on a fabulous one that may be impacted by the EPA freezes. But anyway, lots of hands in the air, and let's just keep doing good work together. I'll keep you informed as we go.
Brandon, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we have a quorum, right? What is there? There's 9 board members, right? 9, and there's 6. I think there's 6 of us here. 1, 2. Derek, you're gone, right? He just stayed signed in, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 6 board members here. So we have a quorum. So just so everyone knows, we follow what you call Robert's Rules of Order in our meetings. So I will look those up and email them to everybody so you can get familiar with them if you are not already. But as a board, one of the things for our board meetings is this is where we vote on things. We don't vote on things in our general meetings. This is where we talk business, whether it be the neighborhood association or whether it be the nonprofit side. A couple of things that we've talked about is doing a little bit of restructuring. Right now, we are scheduled to have 1 general meeting a month and 1 board meeting a month. So we had a discussion previously about moving it to where we do a meeting a quarter, which is actually what it says in our charter, is that we have to have 1 meeting a quarter, a general meeting and a board. Actually, it doesn't even say general meeting or board meeting. It just says 1 meeting a quarter. So what I would like to make a motion, even though we do have a meeting scheduled for June, which is not a quarter away. It's 2 months from now. And that's our meeting that we have where we have the people coming from Coos Bay to deal with the, talk about the train and about what's happening with all of that, which is changing every day. But I would like to make a motion that we move our general meetings, not our board meetings, but that we move our general meetings to quarterly. Is there any discussion about that?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion about that? Actually, I'm sorry, Travis, this is not something that you can participate in because you're not on the board. Linda, you have a question or a statement? Linda, are you with us?
You've got 2 Lindas with you.
So is there any discussion?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
go ahead.
Okay, so I don't feel like, oh shoot, hang on. I've got my phone because I was gonna go.
Damn, far out, man. Sounds like Pink Floyd live in Pompeii.
Okay, can you hear me here?
Yes.
Okay, I have my phone muted because I was about to go out to the barn to check on the chickens. Sorry. But anyway, I don't feel like I personally have quite a good enough grasp about what goes on at these it's the general meetings you want to limit to 1 a quarter.
Correct.
I don't really feel like I know what goes on, so I don't know what we would potentially be giving up. So I don't feel like I'm an informed voter on this particular thing, unfortunately. That's
okay.
all.
Well, I'll tell you what our reasoning was previously in discussing this.
Okay.
is that having a general meeting once a month, many times we're grasping for things to talk about. It gives us 2 meetings a month. It's very time consuming. It's very busy. And we don't always have something to do. I mean, and sometimes not a lot of people come because we don't have a topic. So what we had discussed before was that we move to one general meeting quarterly, but continue to have committee meetings on a monthly basis, like the Health and Safety Committee. I don't think you've been to a Health and Safety Committee meeting yet, but you're going to be invited. Like a Whitaker Community Art Team meeting, like a Business Owners Committee meeting, like what are we going to do with the garbage in the Whitaker? Like if they want to do a meeting on ham radios and who has a radio, and let's talk once a month. And so what happens is that these committees, the plan is that the committees will come to the general meeting quarterly, and everyone will give an update. And that will bring more participation to the meeting, because each committee will talk about what they're doing. And then we can also have meetings like we have a big meeting plan where we've invited, Janet got a hold of the people in Coos Bay that are in charge of what's happening with the port. And they're actually coming here physically in June.
That's great.
So yeah, and now we have to work on some other, things to make that happen and get some other people there. And we're going to do a town hall style meeting. And we can always do that. But the quarterly meetings will be based on what the committees are actually doing. So we actually have something to do at a meeting based on what the neighborhood is doing and accomplishing together.
Okay. Yeah, I do understand that. I'm certainly not for having meetings just for meeting's sake. But
Right.
but if it suddenly got more people involved, like say there was just really a lot of involvement for this train situation when it happens, if we could change, I don't know, can we change it back? If it
Yeah,
doesn't
we
work?
can always change it back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just take a board vote.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
it.
All right. And so probably if I felt that way, a lot of other people would feel that way too. Thank you.
Yeah, we could always change it back. Jen?
So I read the charter and things like that. I have probably a annoying can of worms to open, which I'm not trying to do right now. But so I will ask the question of, how often do you want the board to meet then for the closed meetings?
Well, and we're gonna, first I wanted to talk about, because they're 2 separate issues, 2 separate meetings. So I figured we would take them individually.
So yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you what my likely unpopular interpretation of the charter is, but that we've been functioning basically as an executive committee, and that voting members might, I'm echoing, like the general membership might be a little bit different, but I only read it, once. So I just,
I know where you're going with this, and just so that we asked for comments and how people felt in a general meeting.
okay.
And we also put a post on Facebook about what you thought. If you have any comments about this, what do you think? We've done everything short of send a postcard, because you're right. We do need to reach out and get people's opinions, but we can't make them answer.
Yeah, I think there was,
And the charter
There was a
does
little bit
say
of
4 meetings a year. So
I guess maybe what I'm asking is, perhaps we could take the board meeting question first, and then I would also like to have a conversation maybe outside of this to explain I need to sit down with the materials, because this is also new, to
right,
make sure that
I know
this-
what you're talking about. Well, just for a sidetrack for a minute, for me right now, being having the responsibilities that I have with the board and the things that I need to make sure that get done, we have a huge meeting that's coming in 2 months that could actually involve all the neighborhood associations, city, state. I do not think that it would be smart for us to put the board meetings at this point on a quarterly basis. I think that that's something that we should address after June if that's something that we want to do. And we're a brand new board, and we do need to be prepared for the general meeting in June.
Yeah, I think it's because there's one in June, and because, like, the public safety committee is where a lot of the work gets discussed, and that's open to the public. Like, I certainly am, and because I only agreed to do this because he said we were going to go quarterly,
right? Which I really that's part of why I agreed to do what I'm doing too. I can't. It's so much.
What's so much?
I think that
planning. It's my job. If you read the charter, the chair's job is to plan every meeting, to create the agenda for the board meetings as well as for the general meeting, and to come up with topics. What are we talking about? What are we going to do? Okay, great. Where are our finances? Oh, geez, we need to do this at the bank. We need to do that. There's a lot involved, and then to come up with something that we're going to talk about at a general meeting. I would much rather see feet on the ground, people out actually doing something that they're passionate about and getting other people involved that are within the community that are not on the board, which is in essence what you're talking about, that what we would like to see happen. Doriandra?
Just I so agree with this. The energy that we put to create something is often intense, and so the way, like, if this gets all moved out into quarterly, Margaret will have much more time to kind of rally around and find the things that she wants us to approach, and then it gives us time to create more of an event for those meetings. We could do some of the stuff that we like to do, maybe do another cook-off. We could have an actual massive 2-hour meeting that is like those ones we do under Washington Jefferson Bridge, and really, really turn it into a powerhouse for community. So
yeah.
I love that we'd have time to just build an event, because as event coordinators in this realm as we are, it's helpful. So
Joanna, did you have something to say?
I have what I'm going to call an extraordinarily naive question. I'm new to this group.
Sure.
Who's on the board? I'm guessing that I am considered an at-large member, which has no voting power.
Oh no, you have a voting. And sorry, you know what? I should have gone over that. No, you have a vote.
Then why am I saying 11 people here, but you were talking about 6 people, and now I'm very confused.
Well, no, because Doriandra is not on the board. She can't vote. Vicki Lynn is not on the board. She can't vote. Derek is on the line, but he actually is in Arizona and didn't want to miss the first board meeting. And so he stepped away. He messaged us and said that he needed to step away. So he's not there. And Whitaker Watch is not on the board, but our meetings are always open to the public.
I understand.
Okay. So yes, so everyone that got elected, and we all have equal voting power.
Okay.
It's like a round table. We all have equal, our votes all count the same. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because when
I should have gone over that.
11 people, but 6 people have voting power. I'm confused, but now I'm not.
Okay, and actually 9 of us have voting power, just the 3 people aren't here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right. And the quorum would be more than half. So is there any more communication regarding moving the general meetings to quarterly? All right, so there's a vote. There's a motion. There's been a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Janet, do you have a vote?
I'm going to abstain because I'm kind of tossed on which direction with the rail in this important time. On one side, I'm thinking, eventually I think we should go to quarterly, but I think we're at a very turning point, so to speak. So if it's all right, I'd like to abstain at this.
Certainly, whatever you want to do. So
Yeah.
did you get all that, Jen?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to make sure that at 8:38 is when we took the vote. Margaret motions, Daniel seconds. Am I typing in the right thing? Daniel seconds. Janet abstains. Everyone else present, and Derek is not here, votes yes.
Correct.
Is that correct? Were there any nays?
No. And as I said, let's we will have a board meeting next month, and maybe we'll have more than one. There will be the public safety committee meeting. We're going to talk about some things I found out today regarding the railroad, but we're running out of time. Also, really quick. So at this point, occasionally we do have conversations, and it's in our charter that we turn off the recording and that we keep a conversation confidential. So Travis, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the meeting if you would. Thank you. And Doriander, can you turn off the recording? Can't hear you.
Do you want to turn off the transcribing as well?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
All right.
I mean,